Hi guys, and welcome back to now lesson 3 on your fractions. And we are going to do some practice and rework with simplifying fractions. Make sure you have out your guided notes so you can fill in the blanks with me. All right, simplifying fractions. To simplify fractions, we're going to look for the GCF, or that also stands for the greatest common factor. Now remember, common means something they share, something they have alike. Factor is a smaller number that divides evenly. Evenly is important. It has to divide evenly. Divides evenly into a larger number. All right. Greatest common factor. We're trying to find the greatest smaller number that they actually share within each other. So you may remember that you may have done like a fraction rainbow before, or it's a concept I'm sure you've seen, or maybe you're like, I don't know what a fraction rainbow is, but I think once I show you, you know what I'm going to talk about. So this might be from some 6th grade, 5th grade work, but we're going to have a refresher on it, all right? So we're going to try to find the factors of 12. We're trying to find what numbers like go into 12, what we call evenly, all right? Nice and friendly. So we try to always start with the smallest one. So we know 1 goes into every number. And 1 times what would give me 12? Well, that would be 12. 1 and 12, 1 times 12 gives me 12. So those are factors of 12. And let's see, we just go in order. Does 2 go into 12? Well, yes, 2 goes into 12. And it goes in when divided 6 times. So we got 2 times 6 gives me 12. And then we go 1, 2, let's try 3. 3 should go into 12. 12 divided by 3 gives me 4. So this is the factor rainbow we're talking about. And then when the numbers are like right next to each other, so we have 3 and 4, there's no numbers in between besides that are fractions and decimals. And that's not what we want. We want a real number. So these are all the factors of 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. These are factors. They are smaller numbers that go into the larger number. All right, so now we're going to find the greatest common factor that these two numbers share. I know we already did 12, but we're trying to find what factor do 12 and 16 have in common. And there can always be a couple, but we want the greatest. We want the greatest common one that they share. So let's go ahead and rewrite out our little rainbow. We've got 1 and 12, 2 and 6. 2 times 6 give me 12, and then 3 and 4. All right, those are all the factors of 12. So let's go ahead and list them out for 16. We always know 1 and 16. Let's see, it is 2. It's an even number, so it should. And 16 divided by 2, half of 16 is 8. All right, try 3. Does 3, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 8. Nope, 3 doesn't go in there. What about 4? 4, 8, 12, 16. We should have 4. And that would be 4 times 4. So there's no other numbers in between there. All right, left a lot of space, just making sure we have enough room to work. Now I try to think, which one do they have in common? Which one do they share that is the greatest, though? The big G, the greatest one. And we can see the greatest one they share is 4. Yes, they share 2 and 1, but that's not the greatest. All right, we want to find the greatest common factor. So for 12 and 16, we get 4. Now, if you're like, why are we recovering this? This is going to get us into simplifying our fractions. So this is a refresher before we start to simplify. So here's a fraction now. We've got 12/16. We want to simplify this fraction to its smallest. And I know for sure with 12 and 16, if we want to write out all the factors again, we can, but let's just think it in our head. All right, so I know 2 goes into there. Does 4? Well, we already did that one. So yeah, 4 goes into these. So we're going to go ahead and show that we're going to go ahead and take 12 and divide it by 4. What we do to the top, we're going to go ahead and do to the bottom, and also divide that by 4, because when we simplify, we want them to stay together, move together. They're not the same number. And 12 divided by 4, we get 3. 16 divided by 4, we get 4. That is now simplified. All right, let's try 21/35. Now you're like, oh, Ms. Kinner, what did you do? All right, well, let's think. Does 1 go? Yes. 2? No, they're not even numbers. What about 3? Nope, 3 doesn't work. 4, 5, no, 6, 7. 7 does work. And you can always use a multiplication chart to look at this as well. But let's go ahead and, for our purposes, we're going to go ahead and divide top and bottom by 7, because that's the greatest common factor they share. 21 divided by 7 is 3. 35 divided by 7 is 5. Now we got 3/5. You know that that can't be simplified any further. So therefore, you pick the right number. All right. Let's look at 32/80. Wow, that's a pretty big number, right? But we're going to get into those kind of numbers. So let's go ahead and just think in our head real quick, what numbers might go in there. maybe 4, but I believe 8 for sure. Let's go ahead and try 8. All right, there might be a bigger number, but let's just try 8 for now. All right, and we know 32 divided by 8 is 4. 80 divided by 8 is 10. Now, does that mean I'm done? No. 4/10 is not simplified. So there was maybe a greater number we could have found, but we didn't right away. So let's go ahead and now we still need to simplify 4/10. That's not simplified. It won't be counted. So make sure you're checking that it is. So what number goes into 4 and 10? Well, I think just 2. So we're going to divide each by 2. And 4 divided by 2 is 2. So I'm heading down here. And 10 divided by 2 is 5. So we got 2/5. Now I know that is simplified. The only other number they share is 1, which means that we can't simplify it any further. So that is just a refresher on how to find our greatest common factors and help us simplify our fractions.